Mastrantonio, Montana.
Say hello to my little friend!
The last time you're gonna see a bad guy like this again, let me tell you.
Okay, his parole was ended, so here I present to you Tony Montana himself, Al Pacino.
This, you know. I did watch it, I did. It's been a while, but I watched it. Wow.
Do you find it's funny how films do change over the years? Like, you know, when you see it in '83, you see it now, it's a different movie in a weird way. I mean, because looking at it today, the thing that really struck me was how actually the second half is incredibly tragic, but not in an obvious way, in that it's all about how hollow everything he strove for was, you know. And
well, you know, we change too.
Yeah.
And so when we see it later on in life, and we start supplying the film with some of the things that have happened to us, and what we've seen in terms of this art form, which is amazing to be a part of. I just started seeing there are a lot of good actors in this thing, and just to name a few, you got Angel Souza. Of course, Bauer, my Rocky Bauer, one of my favorite people in the world. You know, he played Manny. And a couple of others, you know, Robert Loggia, Michelle Pfeiffer, my sister in it, Mary Mastrantonio, and
Pepper
oh,
Angel.
I can't.
Angel. Pepper
Yes, Angel. And then a very
the guy who killed Mozart.
yeah, Mozart. Amadeus. So, yeah, I'm sort of shook up.
Yeah,
naturally, you know. I mean, this kind of stuff, I've seen it on the big screen, and with all of you here, thank you for coming, really. We did have earlier, when this first opened, and that's why this is so exciting and crazy for me, and because when this first opened, like 40 years ago, it was, you know, kind of panned, you know, it was controversial, it was panned, but it still had an audience for a while, and then it was gone, it was over, it was finished. It sort of, you know, and everybody was in our group that made this film, and we were a little stunned because we thought that it would have a stronger reaction, and because we thought we had done something, but the critics, most of which were negative, and sort of saw it in a way. But it went on for years afterward.
But didn't Scorsese say something interesting to you about that when he first saw it? He said something. What did he say to you? He said that they won't like it. The reason he thought they wouldn't like it because he thought that the Hollywood people would see themselves in it too much. Well, Scorsese. I mean, I read this in your book, Alan. That's why I got it. Yeah. Okay. Maybe the edited out since I read it.
What did Scorsese say?
He said that that they wouldn't like the film in Hollywood because they would recognize themselves in it too much.
In this? Oh, no, that's going too far. You gotta give them a break sometimes. Well, it was a cocaine period, let's face it. Things were going on everywhere. And this was one of them. Oliver Stone wrote this script. I have to say.
And Oliver's never touched drugs.
Oh, no. But I loved Oliver, and of course, Brian De Palma when he did it. Ronnie Burton, the producer, we don't know him as much as the others, but his vision is in this film.
Okay, so the film was your idea, right? You went to see the original, the Howard Hawks film, and what was it in that you liked?
That's, I don't know. I know that I saw that, I was shocked. You know, Howard Hawks, the great director that has done so many things, and directed Paul Muni, this actor, who I loved, and I thought he was a theater actor, but then he became a big movie star in the 30s. And that's when they did, last time they did Scarface was in the 30s. And I wasn't there. But I saw a rerun at the Tiffany Theater on Sunset Boulevard. I was walking down there with a few friends, and I said, hey, there's Scarface, Paul Muni's in it. And I happened to think of Bertolt Brecht, because we had done the
Arturo Ui,
Arturo Ui, The Irresistible Rise of Arturo Ui, which is written by Bertolt Brecht, a great writer, amazing, and he was enamored with Scarface and other American gangster films.
He basically took the parable of the American gangster and turned him into Hitler.
Yes, he was around when the Nazis were in Germany, and what was going on. So he wrote this play, anti-Hitler play.
And you played Arturo Ui, right?
And I played Arturo Ui, but I didn't play it back then. I did it a lot of times because I thought it was a great play and said so much about what was going on then. And Bertolt Brecht wrote it in 1941, actually.
Yeah.
And I guess I was born.
So you were 1 year old,
thinking about things. But I'm very excited by seeing this now.
So do you think? I mean, it's very interesting. Do you think that the line from Scarface and Paul Mooney and Bertolt Brecht goes straight through to this via Oliver Stone? I kind of think that's about right, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, when I saw that, I thought this is a great movie. It was similar. It had that, we all had that reaction from people, and they were split, but at the same time they saw what it was saying. And I think this is what happened with Scarface, because after a while, it started to get into the social structure, and sooner or later the rappers started to embrace it, and the hip-hop generation started coming in, and it was in the colleges, it was all over the place, it was underground.
Well, I think what's very interesting about that is that the original Howard Hawks film was forced to put a disclaimer on it.
That's right. Well, we had to do
and you had to do the same thing, because you did it properly.
That's right.
And you kept the relevance. It wasn't a period film. It was, I think, and it was actually Lumet's idea to make it Cuban originally, wasn't it?
That's right. Lumet wanted to make it more or less about, social, I don't know, he wanted to make a different kind of movie than Bregman wanted to make. Right. I sort of just wanted to play the part because I wanted to imitate Paul Muni. That was my goal. But I had seen the film and I was so moved by it, moved by his performance. I called Marty Bregman immediately upon seeing it.
But, I think the most visionary thing in the movie is when the politician says, if you want to solve this problem, legalize drugs. I mean, to say that in 1983, which of course is the height of the Reagan Just Say No campaign, it was a very radical, very anarchistic thing to say. I'm sure that came from Oliver, but you know, it's really prescient and advanced. You know, that's why the film has lasted, because what it says is correct. You know?
Yeah. And then all of a sudden it started picking up momentum.
Yeah.
And now it's like a classic. You know, I think there's something to say. I'm thinking about films that had, you know, an awful start. There's a few films that have awful starts and stayed and came back, and we can see them now, which is a great thing about the streamers. But that you can see older films. But this came back with a blast and became popular, very popular. And I think that had a lot to do with the VHSs. VHSs came out. Is that what you call them?
Yeah, that was about the year, yeah. In 83, that was the beginning of it.
Yeah, I was around in 83 too. Yeah. So I should know that. But that started to get it popular, and it just started catching on. And then, because it is really a movie that has in it a lot of stuff to like. You know, there's a lot of good stuff in there that in this environment, in a movie house, in a big movie screen, and you know.
But I think the things that they didn't like about it when it first came out were, you know, that they were saying that it was, you know, just a kind of excessive genre piece. These are the things that when you look at it now, it so clearly isn't. It's actually.
Well, you know what I was waiting for the audience to do?
Yeah.
Laugh.
That's right.
And no, not just laugh, but laugh and applaud when she says, "Why do you say fuck all the time?" You know? But they're so used to it. We're so used to it now in our climate that you don't care that much. You know? But back then, you got it raw.
When the guy gets the job, that's pretty funny. When he gets the job at the end after you've shot everybody, and the henchman gets the job. That's such a great scene. Ernie,
Oh, the henchman, Ernie gets it. Oh, wow. Yeah.
But you know, also
Harris Yulin played the cop, too. He's a great
Right.
actor, by the way. He's still around. Yeah, I mean,
but also, look, I mean, the thing is powered by your performance, Al. I mean,
thank you.
it's such a tour de force.
It's an honor to be around people who see this. You know, it's not every day that you get your old film, you know, screen in a big audience with real reactions to it. It's so wonderful.
A lot of these people weren't born when you made this film.
Absolutely, I know that. I look out there and I see it, but I don't think anybody was born. Well, they still would, I suspect that. And I think it's an interesting story about how it started to develop and became something that you could compare with the other films that have lasted.
But you tell me a story, I don't know if you want to tell the story about it. There was a dinner you went to that Sidney Lumet and Milos Forman took you to.
Oh my God, they weren't even together, it was separate. And I love these two directors. Of course, you know, that's the greatest. You know, he made two films with me, Serpico and Dog Day Afternoon.
Milos Forman.
Milos Forman, who I love, and he did and Amadeus and stuff. So I admired these artists, and I found out something that is very strange, interesting. They were very upset that I did this film. And they are artists, great ones and great directors. And they really had a passion and got really mad that I could do this kind of film. And I thought, I just didn't understand it, which is good. Sometimes I sort of understand it, and I get very upset. But when you feel as though you've somehow got through on something and have something up there, you don't take the criticism as bad. It's strange. But I know how that could take someone really, you know. But I sat and enjoyed their spirit. You shouldn't do things. And I was enjoying it. I thought, well, what you don't know won't hurt you.
So what did Milos say to you?
I don't know the words, but it was something like, I remember the scene.
That was in Czech, of course.
But I didn't have the greatest time doing this thing, although I knew I was into something that was expressive and talked about stuff in a way that I can't even relate to now. But at the time, it was tough. I mean, being in that room, wow, you got to go into a Zen, you have to be in a Zen state shooting that machine gun for 2 weeks, right?
And didn't something happen?
Yeah, I picked up after a round of bullets, I don't know what you could call those machine guns, but there's a name for them, are dangerous. and I got finished shooting around, and I went to, I was shot, and I went to pick up my gun, and I grabbed a barrel after it just shot off 30 rounds. My hand stuck to it. It was over, you know, and then it was over. I couldn't get my hand off there, and I was in a hospital and then just for a night, and then they couldn't shoot anymore for 2 weeks. So they had a field day shooting extras. Because I wasn't around, so they just started shooting them like crazy. I mean, I was in a hospital. I went to the hospital. That suit I was wearing, and it was like full of blood from head to foot. And I'm in the hospital there, you know, some nurse was looking at me. She said, who are you? I said, she said, are you Al Pacino? I said, yeah, I am. She says, oh, okay. I thought you were some scumbag. See, I read the look she had. I knew something was up. But scumbag, oh my God.
I didn't De Palma bring in some of his buddies to shoot extras while he was
Yeah, Spielberg is in one of those shots. That's so we had good, you could say, well, I know it's a little over the top, but Spielberg did it. You know, he's great, so I was very happy that they were able to shoot, you know. And, but I think the idea of that, over the top, I think everybody should know that really was Brian De Palma's idea to take this film and really give it that little bit more than you're used to. You know, we're kind of almost operatic in its style. And I thought that really did lend a kind of difference to it than other films.
Yeah, I think a big part of that is the work that Fernandez Scarfiotti did on the production design. He's not credited for production design because there were union issues, but that's why he's credited as a consultant.
How about Alonso?
That's going to be his.
Alonso,
yeah. But I think, but what Scarfiotti did there, and with the music of Moroder, like I think,
Moroder's
to me
music,
that
yeah.
kind of forms the 80s. That's the 80s aesthetic right there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Those sounds. Because all the guys who I was working with at the time, I was in the music business in the early 80s, and all the guys who were making records, they all wanted Moroder's synth sounds because they were the best, you know?
Yeah.
All the guys who were working at the time, like Hans Zimmer and Trevor Horn and all those people, they all were obsessed with Moroder.
Yes.
It's a beautiful, beautiful soundtrack.
It's a great soundtrack. Yes, it is. I'm hearing it here today. It's been a while, and I can. It's so much fullness in it.
It's a really good piece of music. Yeah, it's really, really good.
Yeah. Does someone have a question? Yes.
I have a question. You mentioned determine the best performance and what to listen to. For you, how important is to establish a great relationship with the director, and what's something that you expect directors to do to improve that relationship with you to bring out a better performance out of you?
I wish I understood it by hearing it. I didn't
He's asking you what you expect from a director and what they can do to improve the relationship with you.
Oh, I really, I just did a film with this guy here. And he's great. He's great. And I think I have learned to put my hands in the director's. I mean, I'm under his I'm under his thing. It's going to be whatever he does. That's what the film's going to be. You could do little general things. And he allowed me to say whatever I wanted to say, and so did Brian. You know, I mean, both Oliver and I met and talked about the kind of script he was going to write. So I was a little bit more in the steam, so to speak. But in the end, I know just from doing this for 100 years that it's the director's medium, and we all know it. We don't talk about it as much, but it's there. They make the film, and when you work with them, you really are. You're dependent on that kind of thing of having the security of your director. But when you don't have security of your director, it's making a movie gets real tough. It has happened, but not often to me. I've been lucky. And most people that direct want to. I don't know why, to this day, why they would want to direct, but they do. And because it's a tough job. And then over years, I've directed a couple of things. You just understand directors more. You just do. You know what they're up against. And somehow that helps you to conform to some of it. When I first started, though, I was not a happy fellow. Nothing good. I don't want to be that anymore.
Well, I have to also just add to that, having just directed out on a film, I would say that anybody who tries to contain him is on a losing wicket.
Yeah, I just see nice up here now. Thank you. This guy is like, I don't know how I played that guy.
He's a wild, crazy guy.
Where the hell did he come from? That's what I was thinking back there. I was like,
He's not really like you at all.
oh, really? Finally, they're all like you. You know what I mean?
In some
you just
way.
can't help it. I mean, you're the painter. An actor is painting, and it's what comes out of you, really. And that's how I saw this person, because I saw him like Icarus, going higher and higher. You know, he was on a track, that couldn't, just couldn't. It's awful when he shoots that guy. That beautiful guy. Bauer, I mean.
The thing that gets me about this performance, and in fact about all your performances, which might be a unique thing to you, Al, is that however bad your characters are, in this one, you name yourself. I'm say goodnight to the last of the bad guys.
Yeah,
you name yourself as the bad guy.
Yes.
You are playing it as I am the bad guy, yet the audience loves you.
Wow.
Why does that happen? Or how does that happen? It's the same.
That must be somebody's secret, but it's certainly not my secret.
And you do.
I just see something and think, you want to find, even though you want to find the humanity in a character, something that, and you go for it, sometimes you don't reach it. And I just thought it was written a great part. It's a great role when you think of it. There's a freedom there. And I was inspired by Paul Muni, I must say. And I think that just seeing what he did as an actor, you're sometimes, because I love actors. I see actors today and I love them. I love when they do great performances because it inspires you. And because it's your trade they're doing. They're doing what you do. So, you admire it. And I very much was given the freedom from Paul Muni. he sort of had that explosive thing in him, or the way he got on top of the character is the way you get on top of the camera. The way Bernard gets on top of the camera is something to see. I mean, it's like a horse. It's like a little horse. And you can see he's very comfortable. Sitting around. You want to just say, hey man, let's go, give it a little charge. Stop rolling, man. No, it's true. You see that. I don't know what I was making reference to.
And we were asking about relationships with directors. Who else has got a question?
Yes.
Your Grace of Leicester.
I'm sorry?
Your Grace of Leicester. It is an honor to be here with you.
Oh, thank you.
Incredible.
I love it. I love what you say that.
Question over there?
Yeah, so I first heard about this movie years ago from a little game called Grand Theft Auto.
I'm familiar. I have kids,
I thought it was super cool that they took so much inspiration from this movie. What were your thoughts like initially when you heard about all that, and did you actually play the game yourself?
Yeah. I recently got a letter from some girl, a young girl in Israel, who wrote me a very eloquent letter. She's only 14, and she talked about this. She liked this instead of ran across. So I got into a conversation with her, and I started talking about this film, and that it does have this kind of energy, because it's been criticized for all the violence, the murder in it, and stuff like that. But somehow there's a radiant thing in there. I don't know where it comes from. I think
He's a tragic hero, that's why.
that's right. He's a hero. In that way, he's a anti-hero hero.
Well, I think the scene for me, where you really kind of pulled the whole thing together, is after you've shot your best friend, when you're sitting there behind the desk.
Yes.
It's like, because it's somebody in the depths of the soul, and the only thing that can do it.
It was the first time the character gives that away, that third dimension.
Yeah.
I saw him as two dimensions.
Yeah.
I mean, I did it just two sides. What you see is what you get, which gave him a sort of charm in a way. Because, like the guy says in Bolivia, you don't lie, you tell the truth all the time.
That's right.
You feel it. And for the first time in the film, he goes into himself. He contemplates and looks at himself.
What he
And
says,
then he knows it's the end.
well, he says repeatedly, the only thing I've got is my word and my balls.
Yeah.
And he's lost both at that point.
Yeah.
It's a terrifying moment.
Yeah.
It's a great scene. I mean, it's as you say, it's like the character sort of unravels in front of your eyes. How do you do that, Al?
Yeah, right. Take a look at me now. I'm unraveling as we speak. I don't know how to not unravel. I've unraveled my whole life. And I don't know if I like it, but I do it.
Well, it is true. Again, having had this experience with Al recently, is that there is a thing that happens when you put a camera on Al. It's like you don't know what's going to happen. Something happens.
Well, that's good. That comes from a lot of people I've seen working, and a lot of help I've had, where people like you and others who have helped me with stuff. I am the kind of I'm a stuffy actor right now. You can tell my nose, something's going on up there, and it's not cocaine. And a lot of it came from that film. I still got it. Whenever I was sniffing, stood up there. They liked it, they enjoyed it. But I find myself looking at roles and stuff. I've done quite a few parts I didn't feel I was right for to start with. If I get something that I feel I connect to, whatever it is, I've been lucky enough to pursue it and be able to get up there and do it, And so that's a real lucky break for an actor to get something that you feel I can speak through this role. It doesn't happen often. And it does take a lot of focus on it, and what part of you the role touches. Whatever that might be, where does it go? How do you and the character you're playing
But I think that
merge?
in this particular instance, you identified enough to say, this part is mine.
Yeah.
So there must have been some part of it that really
Well, I
resonated.
meant the underbelly of our world. I come out of that kind of climate, and so I sort of had that there. You're always expressing, in a way, your own traumas, some way. You know, all artists do that.
There's that terrifying scene where his mother kicks him out of the house.
Oh, well, we've gone through that in the last film we did.
Ow.
Yes.
Here.
Oh, hi. I gotta know you, don't I?
I don't know, but I was wondering, in Scarface, specifically your character, Tony Montana, how do you think they portray the American dream?
How it portrayed the American dream. Yeah, that's a good point. That's Sophie, right?
That's so
I know Sophie. She's great. It portrays the American dream because, let's face it, she said it. It's, you know, get the power, you get the money, you get the power, then you get the woman. Now, what does that mean? And that's what we are here. That, too, is as Brian De Palma would say, it's the avarice in the world. Especially, it was sort of visible. Now it just exists here in today's world, but it's sort of there, you know. Like all of us said in this film, you know, greed is good. Remember Wall Street? Yeah. Greed is good. And I think we were hanging then. And that's what Brian felt, and that's what Oliver felt. This is about excess.
Yeah, I think ultimately it's an anarchistic movie because
Yes.
it's saying that the desire to succeed is actually a criminal act.
Well,
It's
could be. I don't know.
You only get rich if you steal the money. It's basically what the film.
I think for a lot of actors is also if you get lucky, you know, I've gotten lucky quite a few times in my life, but when I look at it, I feel I've also got unlucky a lot too. You know, I have it in the book. and yeah, I just feel that I think there was something like that going on, Sophie, at the time. I just felt the energy of the split thing that was going on there in the Reagan years. We just say no kind of thing.
Exactly, yeah. Well, there was all happening at that point.
Yeah, it was.
Man here has a question.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Tremendous roles. Can you please talk about your process in approaching a role, like how you approach this one and how you approach subsequent roles in which you are?
Yes. It's changed in me throughout years. You know, I approached a role that way. I think about it a lot. I think about the role and I think about how I'm going to consume it and how it in me and grows in me. And really, it's very simple. I do it and try to find, if I'm lucky enough to get a character that also exists in real life, that's good. I sort of watch footage on people. The most recent one I watched footage on was Hoffa from, what was the name of that? Irishman. What's that? So I drew a lot on the life of Hoffa, and I got to look at, I like real people to play, you know, it does help, or great material, like Shakespeare. So then you find something in that. There are roles that you don't connect to, and they're great roles. So let that be known. And I have been lucky enough to, most of my roles, I have a sense of, as they say, some more, some less. Some I don't, and I do it, and I made a mistake.
And wow, Mr.
You
Pacino.
know.
Over here.
Yeah.
So your mannerisms in this movie, specifically when you're adjusting your belt all the time, when you're sitting down, where did that come from? Because it's such an interesting choice that really stands out and just makes it a really special performance.
Well, it certainly wasn't my choice. So, you see what I mean? Free the unconscious. The unconscious is free. If you can do that, you can do things that aren't expected by yourself. So I'm glad you like that. That's good. But I didn't plan anything.
Back there, what?
I wanted to know, in the film Scarface, what was your favorite outfit?
Favorite outfit?
I like that three-piece suit. Yeah. Old school.
Did you get to keep the wardrobe?
Yeah.
Stuff that wasn't bloodstained.
That was Miami. Yeah.
Unfortunately, I got to film with you in Babylon. I'm sure you remember me dancing around you. So I just want to let you know that, and make a wonderful compliment about you, because you were so respectful to all us dancers around you.
Oh,
In
wow.
between takes, you said, "Excuse me," in your little cholo, your little cholo walk. Off the set, you were amazing and friendly, and just, it was such a pleasure to see an actor
Wow.
treat us.
I love that.
Yeah, and I just want to let you know that I appreciated that.
Oh, I love that. Thank you. I mean, that's the best thing here. That's great. Thank you.
I gotta say, this is like Pfeiffer by being raised inappropriately. I was raised by a single mother. I saw this movie when I was 4 years old. Babysitter. So her and her then boyfriend took me to see this. So, share that. I'm curious, Dave, the question about the process made me wonder. You've been in so many epic, influential movies, huge films.
Yeah.
It's a two-pronged question. What was the most challenging for you to make? And then on the flip of that, what's one you think is maybe underrated or just hasn't gotten the love that you think it should have?
Half of them. Well, there are a few that I'm sort of fond of, but that's true. I did have a hard time only with Godfather for some reason. And I think it was because when I started that film, I didn't feel I had a company behind. Francis Coppola, of course. I mean, I told Francis, you don't have to use me. I kept saying, I just don't like being around where I don't feel wanted. That's a party, that's a person, if I'm wanted, I'm glad to be there. But if you don't feel that, and that was tough. But somehow, I guess, I was in a great film with all these great people and Francis Ford Coppola. He made this thing. That's a case of a director wanting you to be in a film too. That's a big thing for actors. If a director wants you, there's a reason, and that's a good deal of why you do something. So if you're a little, but your director sees you in that, because they'll help you, they'll be with you,
Well, I think also, we need to wrap it up, I think now. I just wanted to say, I've read Al's book, and it's brilliant.
Oh,
That's right.
I feel confident talking about it. It'll be out all that.
It's out on the 15th, right?
I'm sorry, but
It's coming out in like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
15th, yeah. It's amazing.
it's weird. It's a memoir. You know what I mean?
So,
We all write them sooner or later.
yeah, it's a good one though.
Yeah, thank you.
So here we have, I think,